if I'm moving toward the source of a sound, well, let's say I'm not moving toward the source of a sound. Waves are coming at me from that sound source, and they're spaced out at a certain distance apart, depending on the frequency of the wave being emitted. If I stand here, then I'm going to hear a certain number of those waves in a given time interval. If I move toward the source, I'm going to hear more of them. I'm going to be walking into them. I'm going to encounter them more frequently than I would if I was just standing here. So that the frequency of the sound that I hear is higher if I'm moving toward the source. If the source is moving toward me, then let's say I'm the source. I produce a wave here, and I move before I produce the next one, and I move before I produce the next one. Well, if I stood here and produced the waves just from here at the same frequency, they'd be spaced further apart than they would if I move a little bit between every pulse. Okay, that should be clear. I could go into more detail on that, but in the interest of time, I'm not going to. And the point is that if the source then is moving toward me, the waves get compacted in the air, and I'm going to hear them more frequently if I'm standing still, and even more frequently than if I'm moving toward the source. The relationship between these frequencies is just this. FL is the frequency heard by the listener. Fs is the frequency produced by the source. VL is the velocity of the listener. Vs is the velocity of the source. And V is just the speed of sound. The positive direction for the speed of sound will always be positive, but we need a positive direction. We need to define a positive direction so we know whether VL is positive and whether Vs is positive. And the positive direction for the orientation of both of these sounds is from the listener toward the source. So there's my positive direction. If I'm moving in that direction, then VL is positive. If the source is moving in that direction, which is away from me, then Vs would be positive. If the source is moving toward me, then Vs would be negative, just as if I was moving away from the source, VL would be negative. That's the equation for the Doppler shift.